Hi everyone, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you've all had an amazing Christmas. It's that time of year when we might be reflecting on our life and everything that, is going really well for us and everything that we've done in the last year that we're proud of. Equally, it might be a time where we are thinking about change that we would like to create in our life. And typically that can centre around your health, your well-being, your fitness. And so as we head into January, many of us will be setting goals, short, medium, long-term goals. And it might be that you're thinking about your nutrition. You might be thinking about your exercise program and what that looks like. You might also be considering your relationship with alcohol. And if so, then keep watching. This video is for you. Now, dry January is a very popular trend and it is one that I am fully supportive of. I think it's interesting. I always want to heavily caveat anytime I talk about alcohol, and I was reflecting on why I do that, because it seems to be such a taboo subject to suggest that one might consider or assess or change their relationship with alcohol. It's not a taboo subject at all, actually. I do it every time that we're talking about alcohol. Actually, this video is just going to be straight to the point. I'm going to be sharing top tips and strategies that I have used to create a life that is phenomenal and completely devoid of alcohol. I don't drink at all. I'm completely alcohol free. I have been for a number of years now, and trust me when I say that it is a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. I can feel myself going to caveat again and say we're all on our own journey, and of course that's true. But it's interesting that alcohol seems to be the only kind of drug, I guess, or addictive substance that we get peer pressured for not consuming, which is just interesting in itself. But I am here with tales from the other side to tell you that if you are thinking about giving up alcohol, either just for January or more long term, or maybe with no limits or expectation around it other than, I'm not sure it's serving me at the moment, I'm going to explore a life where, and for me personally, I'll talk about my journey in a second, but what could we be capable of without maybe every week putting something into our body that maybe doesn't agree with us or just doesn't help us achieve the most highest version of ourselves. And that's certainly my experience with alcohol. So as I say, this video is going to be some short, sharp top tips and some strategies, a bit of a mix between kind of practical things to help you, and then some more kind of holistic, intentional, kind of well-living strategies to support you as you move forward, potentially into an alcohol-free life. So let's get started. So like I said, just a little bit of context, I guess, around my journey. And it's interesting, when I tell people I don't drink, I think quite often there's an assumption that there was, an issue with alcohol, and which again, if there had been, go me for sorting it out. But there wasn't. I felt like alcohol was just blocking me, is probably how I describe it. And the reason that I'm a fan of Dry January, that's actually how I ended up really just considering and assessing my relationship with alcohol, and whether it was, for the night of, laughter and fun and all of that, and that kind of glow feeling that I'm sure we've all experienced when we have, a glass of champagne or a glass of wine or whatever your preferred, drink of choice is. was it really worth it for me for the knock-on effects of how alcohol made me feel? No, it wasn't. It wasn't, because even if I just had a few on a night out, I mean, that was never really my go-to anyway. I was certainly a bit more of a like live for the night kind of girl in my 20s, I guess. And I wouldn't change a bit of it, because actually I think having lived the life that I lived in my 20s, it's just made it so like abundantly clear to me how I feel now with the way that I live my life and the kind of laser sharp focus that I put on my health and my fitness and my mindset and my well-being and everything. That was all part of the journey, and I probably wouldn't be in the space that I'm in now had I not had all the experiences that I've had. So I guess what I'm saying is it's all good. It's all good. We can all course correct at any point. We can all choose a new lifestyle. We can all choose to try something new at any point. And I think in terms of my own personal experience, that's why I'm so passionate about this subject, because it was only when I removed alcohol, probably completely, that I then started believing that I could kind of do anything, actually. If I could take something that I was maybe, I don't know, drinking twice a week maybe, anytime I was like celebrating, it was around alcohol. Or if I was a bit blue, I'd have a glass of wine. Or if I was a bit stressed, or if I, and then before you know it, it appears everywhere. It's everywhere across your week. And in the last 2 years, it's been longer than that I have went long spells without alcohol, even leading up to, planning my wedding and getting married and everything. I think I was alcohol free for 6 months of that time. And I joked with my girlfriends when we went to Paris for my hen weekend that I was going to just do it dry, and there was outrage. And so it's been, like I say, 2 years that I haven't touched a drop, and my life has just drastically improved. Every single part of it has improved, and I don't want to spend too long talking about like the benefits. I mean, the benefits are probably quite, self-explanatory. My sleep is another level. I've never slept like this. My mindset. I'm not someone who's terribly anxious anyway. I can have like anxious moments, I guess, but I've never. However, when I was consuming alcohol regularly, and I'm talking maybe like a couple of glasses every week, maybe on a Saturday night, I'm not even talking about excessive alcohol intake here, my anxiety would go through the roof, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Especially on a Sunday and I actually shared a post on Instagram a couple of weeks ago talking about, the alcohol-free dream and going through the whole of the kind of Christmas party season completely sober, and how wonderful it's been and how much fun I've had. But actually how you can still have an amazing time, and actually, like, I've reclaimed Sundays. Sundays used to be my least productive day because, I might have had a couple of glasses of wine on a Saturday night, and then Sunday would kind of be a missing day. And so now I have like proactively and intentionally reclaimed that day. It's my most productive day now. I get so much done on a Sunday, and it really sets my week up for success as well. So yeah, like I say, the benefits are, clearly your health, your mental and physical health, your mindset, the time that you get back, like, and then there's more like kind of physical things as well, like your skin, your hair, your nails, all that sort of stuff, like just another level. it's just incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. But the most important aspect for me is how being alcohol free or sober can power so much positive change elsewhere in your life. It really can. And so, like I say, if you're thinking about giving it a go for either just for Jan or just to see where it might lead you, I've got some top tips. So enough of the chit chat, let's get to it. So like I say, there's a bit of a mixture here. I've got 5 for you, although I'm sure as I talk about them, they may grow. I'm a talker. We're 10 minutes in and I haven't given you a tip yet. I'm a talker. So the first one is like measure it, monitor it. There's, you know, that old adage, what gets measured gets improved. That's the same with, you know, whatever it is that you're tracking, whether you're tracking macros, whether you're tracking, you know, your workouts, your calories, whatever it is, what gets measured gets improved. So I would recommend using an app for this, especially in the beginning. This really worked for me, I think, because I'm quite very competitive, especially with myself. I liked seeing all those like dry days kind of stack up on the app. So that really worked for me. The one that I use is called Try Dry. I've spoke about it on my Instagram before. It is free and I've used it the whole time. So clearly it's designed for people looking to go dry for January, but I've continued to use it on my journey over the last couple of years. And it's amazing. So you can, you know, it tallies up your longest streak, it tallies up your total number of alcohol-free days. I think I'm at something like 890, which is amazing. It's amazing. So like I say, measure it, track it, that'll keep you on course. The next one, again, this is another practical one. You need to have an alcohol-free substitute. Like you need to have a plan. So if you're going to go to a party or a night out or a dinner or something, you're going to be offered alcohol, not just once, not just twice. You'll actually even get a little bit of pressure potentially from others around why you're not having it. So I guess 2 tips here. I knew this would grow as I started to speak. 2 tips here. First one, have a plan. What are you drinking as an alternative? Having just water is going to be a bit boring, and there are so many alcohol-free alternatives out there. Occasionally I'll have an alcohol-free beer, like a 0.0%, but I switched to, in the early days, I switched to an alcohol-free gin. So it still tasted the same, it looked the same, it smelled the same, but I knew I wasn't putting anything in my body that I didn't want to consume. So, you know, there's all sorts of different things, even sometimes just a lemonade. Like I was at a gig with my girlfriends a couple of weeks ago and I had 1 lemonade. It wouldn't have been diet. I was probably a little bit high on the sugar, to be honest. But that felt like a treat. And I know, you know, if 10 years younger me heard me say this, I would think like, a lemonade sounds like a treat. What are you talking about? That's just true, guys. This is just the truth. I'm just sharing the truth from my perspective and my reality. So you need to have a plan. You need to know what you're going to drink when you're offered something that you're probably going to really want, right? It's not going to be easy. It isn't always easy, but nothing worth it ever is. And the second point there, I guess, is you need to stand your ground. You need to stand firm. It's no one's business what you put in your body other than your own. No one needs to understand it. You don't need to explain it. You just need to say, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm all set. Thank you very much. And then shift the topic of conversation onto something else. I mean, if you want to, you can go into it and explain, you know, your life choices. What I found is you'll be explaining them again and again and again, often on deaf ears, and that's kind of cool, but it's not worth my energy to educate, you know, every single person around me, and I also don't have to justify my choices. So I'm good with that. Zen state. So we've got measure it using an app. We've got a substitute, a little bonus one, you know, choose you for you. Don't need to explain it. And then this third one is kind of related to what we're just talking about. So set your boundaries around social situations. I'm always, I was going to say often, but I'm always the driver, but I'll make sure that I've communicated ahead of time that I might leave early. Like when I'm good to go, I'm going to go. I'm a morning person. I don't really like to be up super late. Depends on the event. Like I'll make the odd exception if we're maybe having a club night in town or something. Also rare. But make sure that you can leave when you want to leave. And again, like just be kind of firm around that. It's okay to go whenever you need to go. If you are driving others, like I say, maybe just communicate that ahead of time so that you don't have that guilt. Because again, people will be like, stay for one more, stay. And that's lovely, right? That's amazing. But when you're trying to create a positive change in your life that is different from before the status quo, is going to feel harder. And so you need to have these strategies in your back pocket to help you succeed. And then the fourth one is around, like I say, it is going to be hard and you can't expect it not to be, but you can remember why you're doing it. And so this is the fourth one. It's remember your why. Remember why you wanted to embark on this journey to begin with. What I do personally is I keep a folder in my phone of things that I've achieved since giving up alcohol. This might be a little bit controversial, but I also keep things in there that remind me of when I did drink alcohol and it didn't make me feel like my best self. And so and again, a lot of this was for the early days. Like now it's just second nature to me. I live my life this way and I don't need to really, do these things. But in the beginning, my why I don't want to drink folder, that was literally what it was called, why I don't want to drink, was really helpful. It was really, really helpful. And I also filled it full of like images and things that I have on my vision boards for when I do goal setting. Things that I wanted to achieve that I felt like I could if only I wasn't kind of blocking myself with like honestly not even an excessive, probably a moderate alcohol intake was really blocking me. Again, probably more so excessive back in the day a little. So that's the fourth one. Remember your why. Really important one, guys. And then the fifth one, and this is the best one, it's like fill your time. You're going to have so much more time back in your life. Fill it with other things. So again, if I reflect on my life living in Edinburgh when I was in my 20s, I would do like shopping in Champagne on a Saturday, or I would go out Saturday night, like date night or drinks, or it was all my weekends were kind of built around socializing, but with alcohol kind of at the centre. Whereas if I fast forward to now, my weekends are centred around, well, my number one priority is always my training, to be honest, because that just, well, that's for a whole other video about why taking care of your body is so massively important. But still full of social, and this is the thing. So you don't have to, become a recluse and stay in all the time and I can't go to anything because I'm not having any alcohol. That's absolutely incorrect. That's false. You can go to everything. Take a look at my Instagram. I am out and about. I am dressed up and loving life and having a glorious time. I'm just not like feeling like shit the next day because of it. Nor is it impacting my business or my career or my training and like it's just the best. So as you make the shift, it's a transition, right? So you can't go from everything looks the same, it's just I'm sitting at the table where everybody else is drinking and I'm not drinking. That's going to be really hard. You kind of need to change the table a little bit. And by that I mean like maybe layer in one or two new hobbies, link up with friends that have, enjoy doing similar things as you like that you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to just be I've removed alcohol and everything else is the same. Actually, as you go through that transition, you're gonna find that the people you're around is probably a bit different as well. And as I mentioned kind of right at the top of the video, when I removed alcohol from my life, my whole world changed. Like, it is phenomenal. And I am so excited about the path I'm on and where, you know, my journey might lead me. And there have been so many things that I just would never have even anticipated might happen. But I know for a fact they would not have happened, nor would I have been capable had I still been consuming alcohol regularly. They just wouldn't have. And so there we have it. Almost bang on the 20-minute mark. Was that what I expected? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think it's a really important subject, and so it definitely warrants the time. Hopefully you've found something helpful and interesting, and something that you can kind of relate to about what I'm sharing. I would love to hear from you all on this. I've already had, and this is what prompted the video, I've already had a lot of conversations with people about alcohol. And that is what made me want to create this video, because you might not be able to work with me one-to-one in a coaching capacity. Maybe you might, who knows, get in touch. You might not be able to come along to some of my workshops where we talk about these things. However, everybody, I want to share the lessons that I've learned on this journey of my life, this part of my journey, with everybody, because they have been so monumental and profound that I would just love anyone who's thinking about it to just give it a go, and hopefully these tips will help. Thank you all very much for staying with me to the end. Wishing you lots of luck on your journey, and keep me posted. Take care, see you soon.